In this video, we are going to understand the formation of hydrocarbons, right? So first of all, you should know what are hydrocarbons. Well, from the name only, it's clear the compounds which is made up of hydrogen and carbon only are called hydrocarbons. Now, you should know that hydrocarbons can be saturated or unsaturated. That means those compounds, those hydrocarbons which has a single bond between carbon-carbon atom are saturated hydrocarbons, and those which have double or triple bond between carbon-carbon atom are called unsaturated hydrocarbon. Further, you can also understand those having double bond between carbon-carbon atom are called alkanes, and the one having triple bond between carbon-carbon atoms are called alkenes. Before we form the compounds here, you should also know their general formula. The general formula for alkenes is what? CnH2n plus 2. That means placing n as whatever a number. Let's say if I place 5, the H is going to be 2 times 5 plus 2, that is 12. Well, we'll do this later. And now coming to the next with alkenes having the general formula as CnH2n. And for alkyne, the general formula is CnH2n minus 2. Further, you should also understand the prefix, which is what we are going to use here. So by prefix, let's first erase this where from it has come. So the prefix here for one single carbon atom, we use the meth, eth for two carbon atom, prop for 3, but for 4, pent for 5, and hex for 6. Now let's begin with the formation of these molecule here. First, I'm going to write its name and the molecular formula. So if I have to form alkane molecule, the first member of alkane molecule having one carbon atom. So what I'll do here, I'll use this prefix from here, that is meth, and suffix as ane, suffix as ane, right? So you can name it as what? This would come as methane, right? This would come as methane. So similarly, if I have to write the second member having two carbon atom, second member of alkane, so I'll be taking the prefix as ETH and ANE as its suffix. So it will come as ethane, and so on. It will become propane. Then for but, it's butane. For pent, it's going to be what? Pentane. And for hex, it's hexane. Now, this is how we form its name. But then let's understand how to frame the molecular formula. As I said, I'm going to use this general formula CnH2n plus 2. That means whatever is the number of carbon molecules, let's say if I have to write the molecular formula of methane, as you know, it's the first member with one carbon atom replacing n with what? 1. Let's understand. Replacing n with 1. What I'm going to get? C replacing 1, this n with 1, so 1 by default we don't write, and replacing n here as 2 into 2 plus 2, that is 4. That will be the molecular formula of methane. If I found the write the molecular formula of ethane, I have to place ns2 as there are two carbon atom. So placing ns2, this is C2, H2 into 2 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6. So it's going to be H6. Further placing N as 3 for propane is going to be C3H2 times 3 is 6 plus 2, 8. For next, that is butane, we have to place NS4. So it's C4H4 to 8 plus 2, 10. For pentane, it's going to be C5H12. And for hexane, it is C6H14. Now, same way, we can form the other molecules. Like for alkenes, you should remember that in this case, the suffix will be ene, right? Now, first of all, we should know that its first member will start with two carbon atom. These two does not exist. That means, And alkene molecules with one carbon atom does not exist. We'll understand this on the later part of the video. Let's understand how to write down the molecular formula and the name of the alkene molecule. Well, as I said, the first molecule will start with two carbon atom. So will be using it as the prefix and ene as the suffix. So let's do it. If I write down here, that is, it will should come as ethene. Well, eth is the prefix and ene, that will come ethene. Similarly, for three carbon atom, it's prop, so it's prop and again ene. For butane, it's a but and then ene. And for pentane, it's pen T as the prefix and ene. Likewise, for hexene, it's hex and then ene. Regarding its molecular formula, we have now this as the general formula, that is CnH2n. That means whatever is the number of carbon, the hydrogen will be its twice. That means if I write its first member as eth, I'll be writing the prefix as eth. Sorry, we have already done. Let's talk about the molecular formula. Placing N as 2 here is going to be C2. H2 times N is what? H4. For placing N as 3, it is H6. Placing N as 4, I'm getting H as 8. Placing N as 5, H10. And placing N as 6, H is what? 12. Now coming to next, that is alkene. As I said that it does not, alkenes with one carbon atom does not exist. So we'll be framing with it, that is with two carbon atom. What I'm going to do is to use this prefix ene and the suffix as yne, right? The suffix as yne. So the molecular name will be, that's the name of the compound, not the is what? ETH as the prefix and yne as the suffix. So it's going to be same way, propyne, PROP, and then yne, and then comes with butyne. For 5 carbon atom, it's pent as the prefix and suffix as yne, pentene and pentyne, sorry. And for hex, it's hex, yne, that hexyne. The next turn is to write its molecular formula. For that, you have to remember that it has how many carbon atom? Sorry, general formula is what? Cn H2n minus 2. That means if I plug in, starting with this, if I replacing two carbon atom, right? Replacing n with 2, it's going to be what? C2H. 2 into 2, 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. Similarly, it is C3H. This is 6 minus 2, that is 4. Then 6 C5, placing n as 5. 5 into 2, 10. 10 minus 2 is what? So first I have to do with 3. 3 we did, 4, right? C4 and H6. C5, placing n as 5 here. 5 into 2, 10 minus 2 is 8. That is H8. And finally, C. This should you write in a suffix, like C5 below and H8. So likewise, it is C6 and H10. This is how we will write down its molecular formula of these hydrocarbons, that is saturated and unsaturated. Now, I was saying that why do not methane, the first member of alkene with one carbon atom is not possible. This is because, as I said, that alkenes have one or more double bond between carbon-carbon atom. So there cannot be a double bond cannot be formed with a single carbon atom, right? And that is the reason. Similarly, a triple bond cannot be formed. That's why we don't have as such we don't have methane and we don't have methane, right? Further, when we will more clarity will come when we'll be writing this structural formula of these compounds. when I'll be doing the structural formula of these compounds, more clarity will come as of why these does not exist.